those are the things I'm working on now. I'm working on integrated health resorts, not hotel resorts.
Yes, yes. And that was precisely my last question, and you started covering it. The difference between soft wellness and serious wellness.
Yes.
And unfortunately, with health and wellness being on everybody's mind and on everybody's trend for 2021, I fear a wellness bashing coming strongly again for those who are not so serious about what they put in the terminology or the treatments for wellness.
And whatever you promise, you've got to deliver. You know, your clients will always thank you for delivering what you say. It's like those, do you remember those long menus that had all these fancy names and you say massage, whatever it was? Well, it's a bit the same as that. So for me, light wellness and serious, so one has a medical prevention curative effect. So if you look at the wellness medical clinics, and now I think the next generation of resorts is going to be about integrative health, but you will have to have the medical piece as well. A lot of my clients don't want the medical piece because it's obviously much more complex. But how can you successfully deliver results and programs and teaching without diagnostics? You know, we all think we know. I mean, I've been going to these places for 40 years. And I always think, and having been in the industry all my life, I think I know what I need. And when I get there, inevitably some blood test or something tells me, no, you should be doing this rather than that. And so I think without diagnostics, you can only do light wellness. So by light wellness, I think, and again, I think it's amazing. So things like yoga and breath work, nutrition, you can do quite well if you have a nutritionist, but again, you need to have somebody good enough. I think back to the microbiome. I think the microbiome, if you ask me what one of the biggest trends is, I think because we're seeing the results of gut health on the brain now with Alzheimer's. So one of the reasons I brought up Alzheimer's was it's been shown to be in the UK, I think it's the #1 on the list of people dying. Because of the microbiome. They're now showing with Alzheimer's, for instance, that only 5% of it is genetic. The rest of it is down to lifestyle. So we can seriously improve all these things. Exercise you can do. I don't mean it's light in that it's not important. It doesn't need a doctor. So I think there's the real prevention and change in your health needs diagnostics first. Now, I'm heavily into functional medicine testing. I think that's the future. I'm working with doctors on all the projects, but as much as we're going to struggle to find the specialists, we're going to struggle to find functional medicine doctors who can be in a commercial environment. But the ones that are good are fantastic, and they really make for change. And I think as an industry, I've said this for a long time, is prevention is the key. Obviously, there's some curative stuff that we're able to do. I think post-orthopedic surgery is going to be really important. So rehab, because now there's just young people, because of diet and because of lack of the right vitamins and nutrients, with knee surgery, hip surgery, you know, feet issues, injury generally. So I think that piece is curative as opposed to prevention. But preventing all these things for the future, I think that is the way, and the way that our industry, even if you take a piece of it, as long as you're honest about it, and that's the key. Don't overpromise. Don't promise what you can't deliver.
And as Abraham Lincoln said, whatever you are, be a good one.
Exactly. Less is more.
Absolutely. So knowing your ground and never stopping to learn, to be curious, to, you know, that as I listened to you, I remember someone in a conference, I forgot the name, but the remark stuck with me. If today you look back to where you were a year ago, and if you realize that between then and now, you haven't grown, you haven't learned, you haven't evolved in a better version of yourself, he said, you should be ashamed.
Okay.
I think be ashamed is a very strong word, but at least the emotion stuck with me. So it's not about being ashamed of, but it's really about wanting always to become the best version of oneself so that we can, in return, serve our guests, our clients, and our teams to be the best versions of themselves. And this is definitely resonating with wellness
Yeah.
for all and wellness by all.
Yeah, and I think that for each of us, I hate that term anti-aging. It's being the best you can at each stage of your life. That's been one of my mantras. Be the best you can at each stage of your life. And believe me, if you think it's going to stay static, it isn't. And you've got to be ready for every change and every curveball that comes at you. And I think we'll come out of this awful period, hopefully more, resilient, optimistic, kinder, all these things. It's been an opportunity. It's been an opportunity for the earth to stand still and regenerate. And hopefully we'll respect each other, we'll respect the earth. And as an industry, we're givers, and the more we can give, the better. But as much as you should be ashamed of yourself for not learning, you should also congratulate yourself if you have, because I think sometimes, I sometimes think I'm not moving forward, and even at 75, I think that. And then I look back at what I've done in a year, and I think, oh, I did do quite a lot, really.
Indeed.
So I think we have to do both.